12 epic floods that will make your jaw drop. Floods, the most common sort of natural disaster, happen when an excess of water submerges normally dry ground. Floods are frequently brought on by prolonged periods of heavy rain, quick snowmelt, or storm surges from tropical cyclones or tsunamis in coastal locations. Let's take a look at 12 epic floods that will make your jaw drop. Number 1. Mexico Flood 2013. In the state of New Mexico, floods can occur at any time of the year, but from May to August, they pose a serious hazard. During this season, thunderstorms are most severe and frequently produce large amounts of rain quickly. A group of friends headed back to the sleepy village of Cimarron on July 7, 2013, when they saw the numerous areas of the road were flooded. Capitalizing on the opportunity, they decided to try and get ahead of the flood waters to see it for themselves. Once they found it, they kept their distance and watched as a large debris flow made its way towards a small culvert pipe in the road. It didn't take long for the flood waters to overwhelm the pipe and begin to flow over the road. A few hours later, the water began to subside and things returned to normal. Floods in rural areas can be truly disastrous for local communities, destroying farmers, crops, the homes of different species of animals, and the flora on which all living things on this planet depend. Thankfully, this flood was more of an incredible sight than a threat to those filming. Number 2. Indonesia Flood 2020. One of the world's nations most vulnerable to flooding is Indonesia, due to a combination of heavy rainfall and a lack of infrastructure to mitigate its effects. A calamity like the one that struck this market can be predicted by adding other influential elements like clogged sewage systems, waterways that supply the populace, and local deforestation. In Indonesia's Sumatra province, catastrophic flash flood struck a market on March 12, 2020, demolishing shops and other businesses and blocking bridges in the process. Residents could only watch as the raging flood swept through the streets, damaging property in the process. How prone this area is to flooding, if all it took was 30 minutes of rain to lead to a flood of this magnitude, while it surely took residents some time to rebuild, from what we can tell. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like anybody lost their life in this terrifying flash flood. Number 3. Andhra Pradesh Flood July. India is one of the few places on earth that experiences such extreme weather, from landslides and subsidence to severe droughts and torrential storms. For the people who live here, daily life offers difficulties. The Indian town of Gutti, which is part of the Anantapura region of Andhra Pradesh, experienced one such severe downpour on July 30th. 2 of the passengers in this automobile narrowly escaped death. When the flash flood overflowed the road, a man managed to film the miraculous escape of a duo identified as Rakesh and Yusuf, who were on their way from Kadapa to Bijapur in their Toyota Etios. The 2 men decided to drive across the flooded-out road, but their small car was no match for the flood and was soon pushed into the nearby body of water. Number 4. Uttarakhand Flood 2021. India is a country that is at constant risk of flooding between high temperatures, melting, the snow in the Himalayas, and the heavy rain that comes with the monsoon season. Many that live here have grown fearful of becoming victims of powerful floods such as this one, experienced nearly a year ago. It was February 7, 2021, when brothers Ashish Singh Rana and Puram Singh Rana at the Raini village in Uttarakhand witnessed a massive flood that devastated the area after a glacier burst high in the nearby mountains. The resulting torrent of water destroyed a dam leading to further flooding. The people in this video were lucky enough to be situated high on a mountainside where they were not at risk. Watch as the water comes washing down the canyon, destroying anything in its path. Number 5. Philippines Flood 2020. Like many other natural disasters that plague our planet, landslides are a very serious and recurring problem in the Philippines. It's a mountainous region that experiences frequent earthquakes and heavy rains, making the terrain highly susceptible to landslides. As the population of the Philippines grows, local communities are every day beginning to settle in regions that are unfit for habitation. It was October 21, 2020, in Cotabato City, Maguindanao, when a furious flash flood advanced on an unsuspecting village below. A few locals dared to capture the moment for themselves, nearly being swept away in the process. In the aftermath of the storm's saddle, the consequences of the floods and landslides not only affected this small community, but hit 23 provinces, dragging rocks and large logs from the mountain in the process. The people in this video were smart to run away before the debris flow got too close and therefore escaped unharmed. Number 6. Indonesia Flood 2019. Similarly, in 2019, Indonesia witnessed one of the most intense flash floods in its history. The flood hit the capital city of Jakarta, which is home to over 10 million people. The floodwaters were up to 6 meters high in some areas, and many residents had to wade through ships deep water to find shelter. The flood claimed at least 66 lives and space of over 35,000 people. Number 7. Maryland Flood. In 2018, the state of Maryland experienced flash floods that resulted in the death of 2 people. Footage showed cars being swept away by the floodwaters and homes being destroyed. The damage caused by the floods was estimated to be in the millions of dollars. These events highlight the fact that flash floods can occur in any part of the world and are not limited to specific regions. Number 8. Europe Flood. In Europe, several countries experience flash floods that cause widespread damage and displacements. In the UK, for instance, heavy wind falcons flooding in parts of the country with homes and businesses destroyed. Number 9. The Netherlands Flood 1212. To kick off, we're going back 800 years. With a huge flood in the Netherlands, the area is prone to flooding, as the entire country was formed by rivers and estuaries from the North Sea. In June 1212, disaster struck with flooding that lasted over 5 months. Riverbanks collapsed and large swaths of farmland were submerged, causing irreparable damage to properties and infrastructure. Estimates claim about 60,000 lives were lost as a result of the immediate flooding. Number 10. St. Lucia's Flood 1287. St. Lucia was a storm tide that affected the Netherlands and northern Germany in December 1287. An intense windstorm gathering power and momentum in the North Sea arrived on the continent. This coincided with unusually high tides, leading to a sudden storm surge in the region. The flooding this caused destroyed all villages between the sea and inland Amsterdam, resulting in 50,000 to 80,000 deaths. Amsterdam, a small village at the time, had permanently become a coastal settlement, beginning the development of the city. Number 11. Red River, Vietnam 1971. The Red River runs from the Pacific to the capital of Vietnam, Hanoi, and on August 1st, torrential rains and intense storms overwhelmed the dike system, which regulated the water levels. The area is not far above sea level, so the flooding that ensued wiped out vast amounts of land, killing an estimated 100,000 locals. The Red River Delta is well known for being a serious floodplain and continues to endure flooding today. A few details about this disaster were made available at the time, as the country was still engulfed in war with the US. Number 12. Yangtze and Huai Flood 1911. The Yangtze River is known as the longest river in all Asia and the 3rd longest river on the globe. It is 39 miles long and is a primary source of irrigation and transportation around mainland China, which is largely low-ground floodplains. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon for the Yangtze to burst its banks, and in 1911 that's exactly what happened. Both the Yangtze and the Huai rivers overflowed simultaneously, and the resulting flood is estimated to have claimed well over 100,000 lives. Thank you for watching this. For more content, like and share our channel for more information.